What she wants is a rose trellis right here. So basically what she wants to do is have the rose climb like it does here on this fence. Well, here I didn't have to make anything, there's already a fence. But I'll show you other stuff I made. Well, I made all these planters. So an example, even when I'm making planters, I never want the wood completely touching the bottom wherever it's sitting. So I just drove some stainless steel screws under here, and it's the head of the pan head screw that touches the floor. It's not perfect, but at least it's not sucking up that moisture. I also made these two pergolas. This one and this one. And here's a good example of what I mean, that I don't want any wood touching the side of my house. The person who owned this house previous to me, he spent some money and did a beautiful job here of acrylic stucco. I don't want this touching the acrylic stucco. It would ruin it with the humidity. So here what I did was I took some threaded rod, 1/2 inch threaded rod. I drilled a 1/2 inch hole into this concrete, and then I used anchoring epoxy to fix that 1/2 inch threaded rod. Then I used a nut at the end and a nut in the front here, and that gives me any adjustment I need from side to side this way. So I have one threaded rod here, and I have the base is not touching the floor, so I have a post base, a 4x4 base, and that's also tapconned into the pavers. So some threaded rod up here, anchoring epoxy. Same thing down there. Now here I didn't use a base, an off-the-shelf base. So what I did was I cut some strips of high density polyethylene plastic, and that's going to give it just a little bit of an air gap. This piece of aluminum was just a big washer that I made. Not necessary, but I made it. Same thing here, and at the bottom as well. I'll show you the ledger next. So I used a 2x10 for my ledger. I also put spacers back here. They're high density polyethylene spacers. And I lag bolted it into the grout of the brick. I think I have 10 lag bolts, stainless steel, holding this ledger. And obviously this doesn't take much weight, so nobody's going to be walking on it. I do walk in that corner just to take care of this little piece of, this little spot of the cedars. Now the first planters I made, I went really fancy. I used the decking leftover from my parents' country house. We used veranda composite decking, and I had some left over, so I decided to make planters out of them. Now, since the decking will last hundreds of years maybe, I decided to use stainless steel for my legs. So this is stainless steel angle, and I use stainless steel hardware. So these things are built to last. They weigh a ton. So that's a little tour. My wife keeps me busy. But today we're doing a rose trellis. So let's go and see how we're going to go about that. So what I'm going to be using is this anchor. So these anchors are cool because they have a machine thread in there. So this happens to have a thread of a 1032 screw. I'm not going to be epoxying this time. And by the way, Amazon is a real game changer. These types of anchors are difficult to find, but I found all this hardware on Amazon. So here I have a 1032 anchor, machine screw anchor. I have my 1032 socket head cap screw with the nuts. Everything is stainless steel. And I got a number 12, a whole bunch of number 10 or 12 fender washers. Stainless steel as well. So the idea here is to put this anchor into the grout and sandwich my 2x2 in between these two washers. I'm going to videotape myself working so you guys could see how I'm going to go about this. These Pika pencils are very, very good. Don't get the imitation ones, they suck. So let's get set up to cut some wood. Those are going to be the verticals. So I'm going to have 4 verticals, and I don't know how many horizontals. Once the verticals are into the wall, then my wife can decide how many horizontals. All I have to do is screw those in level. Let's cut one. Actually, let's cut them all. So I always like cutting the side. See here, this is treated wood. So this here in the center of this is, I don't think it's treated anymore. I think the treatment only goes in maybe at most 1/4 of an inch. So this is fully treated. I'm going to go back and treat the cut ends with end cut preservative. I always do that. Got our 4 verticals. Next, we're going to have to drill into the grout. So it says this wood has been treated with a registered wood preservative, Micro Pro, copper azole. So it's like a copper sulfate to preserve it. So these anchors, they want a 3/8 hole. We're going to be using the Bosch Bulldog today. It's a really good rotary hammer. 3/8. I always like to make sure. Yep. We're going to adjust our depth. So I'm going to go that deep. Let's go drill some holes in my house. So you know what? Let's try to power this rotary hammer with this power supply that I have. Now, nothing here is sponsored. I bought everything with my own money. Extension cord sucks, so let's see if this will work. Alright, so far so good. Let's test it under some load. Alright, so these things have to be tightened down, so they're going to tension themselves. So in order to do that, I need a smaller screw. So this is my screw collection. I got 1 inch and 1 metric. So today is inch, so we need 1032. That should be good. Okay, so the idea is that the 2x2 gets sandwiched in between here. The tricky part is going to be to transfer this hole to the wood. But let's get all these drilled first and get the anchors put in. Then we'll figure that out. All that equal flow is working really well. I need a new screw. I buggered this one up. Maybe a little shorter too. So I don't have a shorter screw. I'm gonna have to use some washers. So the hole got reamed out too big. This anchor doesn't fit anymore. I'm gonna try the rest of them and come back to it. So I don't know what's going on here with how I made this mistake, but I'm supposed to have four verticals. See, 1, 2, 3, 4, and I only put 3. I put one here, one in the middle, and one here. So I don't know if that's gonna work. But now I gotta solve the problem with that anchor spinning out in the hole. So I'm gonna use some copper electrical wire. I'm just gonna strip some Romex. I'll show you. This is it. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Oh, good. That's no good. No good, no good, no good. Look at this. So I have no more 1032 anchors, but I have a few quarter anchors, quarter-inch thread anchors. So I'm gonna have no choice but to put that one there, because the other one is slipping. So for this one, I'm gonna need to drill a hole that is 1/2 inch diameter, not 3/8. So we're gonna have to drill that hole bigger and put one of these in there. Okay, that's good. So this one's gonna be a 1/4 inch. Wow, that was painful. And I'm sure this entire line is in the wrong place. Let's put the verticals. So this is what I have here. It's a 1/4 inch. These are the only washers I could find. What do you guys think? Need to show my wife. I think it's enough for today. There was supposed to be 4 verticals. I made a mistake. I may do with 3 verticals. The span is a little bit more. Now, it's just the rows growing on there, so there's no like load. We'll see what happens. I think it should be fine. Should we call this one done? Let's call it done for now. It does match the brick pretty nice. Okay, time to clean up. So after consulting with the wife, just that we were looking at the spacing that's in between each 2x2, and it's a little large. So the simplest solution we came up with would be to run a stainless steel wire. So I ordered a 1/16 stainless steel wire, and I'm going to span it across the corners. So let's get started on that. This is the stainless steel wire I ordered, 1/16. Can you believe? I thought I wouldn't have enough. This is a miracle. I'm just gonna double up on the screws. Okay, so we're done. Just need to cut the straggler. Need to put the phone down for. There we are. That should be done. Now it's up to the Rose and my wife. This is what that end cut preservative looks like. I treated the cut ends. All the rest are treated already from the factory. I didn't cut these. These I left them 8 feet, so my mistake actually worked out. I don't think that trellis is ever gonna see any rain. Look where this thing is located. I'm in between. It's in between these two houses. It has an overhang. The rain would have to come in at a 45-degree angle. So this thing should last a long time.